we will now begin our first session, the plenary session number 5. Here we have our first speaker, Mr. Oded Weiner, Rabbinate, Israel. He's a strategic consultant, interfaith and religious affairs. I would request Mr. Weiner to address the session with his speech.
This conference is taking place shortly after the Sukkot holiday, Feast of Tabernacles, one of the 3 major Jewish festivals. In the past, when the temple, which served as the center of the spiritual activity of the Jewish people, stood in Jerusalem, the offerings brought to the temple during the festival of Sukkot were carried out in order to ask for divine mercy for the world and for the benefit of all the nations. Another practice observed in the temple during Sukkot was the water libation ceremony, in which water was poured on the altar as an expression of our request at the start of the rainy season that there be no shortage of water, which is the source of the world's existence. The pouring of the water was also done in order to request water for the nations of the world, each in its own country and its own place. We therefore find that on the festival of Sukkot, which in the Jewish sources is called the time of our joy, and in the place of sacred to the Jewish people, the most important ritual were carried out in order to benefit all the nations of the world. That is more than a symbol of the Jewish worldview regarding the need for solidarity and brotherhood among nations and the desire to benefit every person wherever he or she may be. It is a fundamental motive in the Jewish sources. The prophet even bears witness that in the future the temple will serve all the nations when he says, "For my house will be called the house of prayer for all the nations." I believe that there is a common denominator that unifies all of us gathered here today, and that is the knowledge that a man is not an independent, unrestrained creature, one that is free of limitations and criticism. Not at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weiner, for the insight into your very simplistic thoughts on the origin of humanity, the human behavior, and how important it is to first respect our fellow human beings and develop mutual understanding. Our second speaker for the plenary session is Reverend Dr. Sir Sumana Siri, Buddhist chief of Malaysia and Singapore.
Religious fire is the greatest fire. Contrariwise, it could also become a powerful source for global justice and harmony. As a European resident, it gives us a lot of trouble to see a great number of refugees coming to European countries. Not far from here, after the Kalinga War, Ashoka said, "Replace the drums of war to a cry of righteousness instead of Digvijay." I don't know whether Digvijay Singh is still around. "Even if others go to war, his sons and grandsons, may they desire tolerance and lightness of punishment." So Ashoka in another inscription did tell all of us religious people that to unite ourselves and have peace and prevention and resolution of any dispute. I hope Sanchi University will avoid any kind of misunderstanding among the Buddhists and the Hindus. And if this is the brainchild of Sanchi Buddhist Vihara, so we should take care more about the situation. I advised one of the Buddhists who was here in the Sanchi conference, who came up with a complaint about the image of the painting of Lord Ganesha and Buddha. I said, just take it as a beautiful piece of art. How good is it if we can immerse together? So these are things that we have to tackle with. Minister Champika was here yesterday. I also commented on when he said, ask the Tamils to now join with the government and work together by using the might of the majority. For us, might is not right, right is what is might. Pujako labate puja, vandako pativandana. Respect begets respect. Namaskars get namaskars. May I ask from our Indian friends why Nepalese are suffering today without getting enough petrol? Jai Indo, because I am from outdoor. Jai Madhya Pradesh, because I have a good Madhya Pradesh. Jai Bharat, because this is my 50th year to Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Dato Siri, for your valuable inputs on the subject. Our next speaker, Professor Vamsi Krishna Juluri, is a professor of media studies at the University of San Francisco. I request Professor Juluri to share his thoughts.
प्रेम ईश्वर है, ईश्वर प्रेम है। प्रेम ईश्वर है, ईश्वर प्रेम है। कोई भी नाम से जपो रे मनवा, प्रेम ईश्वर है। It is an honor to witness these words embodied, resplendent, coming to life in this august gathering. The last time I felt this, the last time I heard these words, this is a bhajan that I heard in Prashanti Nilayam, the abode of peace in Puttaparthi, Andhra Pradesh, in the presence of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. It is one thing to keep talking about the message of peace and the unity of religions and the welfare of humanity and all of nature. But it is a very different thing to be in the embodied presence of so many people who are living this message in their lives and in their work and have made the journey here so that we can all gain from each other's company and presence and good wishes towards each other. There was a news headline last week which said, "The holy cow is a danger to India and the world." I mean, some bizarre things are happening in the media. They are saying that the cow is dangerous, like a man-eating tiger. So there's a huge fight going on what nature means. So just to conclude, I'll give you 3 solutions for each of these 3 points. So when you're watching TV with your children, or they talk to you about something somebody shared on Facebook, these are the 3 points please do try and talk about. The first point is about nature. Please discourage children from thinking of nature as an object that is there for us to be used. Let us revive our dharmic, religious, spiritual ideas about nature as a mother which gives us life. The second point is about identity. Identity is not about difference, it's not about divide and rule. The British left us with a divide and rule legacy which became a divide and get votes legacy, and that is being taken in the media as divide and create fear between communities legacy now. So let us reject that. And the third point, which is what many of us have talked about, reject the idea that the self is only the body and a desiring body. Cultivate the idea that the body is really, as somebody wrote in the Prime Minister's book, Jyoti Punj, the body is just an excuse for us to serve each other, to love each other. So once again, Prem Ishwar hai.
Thank you, Professor Juluri, for sharing such relevant and interesting thoughts. Our next speaker is an eminent philosopher of Vietnam, Venerable Dr. Thich Nhat Tu, Deputy Rector, Vietnam Buddhist University, HCM.
The theist approach to one's own religions is, in principle, dogmatic, more or less. By practice of religious harmony, we should never proclaim that my religion is the best among other religions and faiths. My religion is the highest truth. The rest are not true. This dogmatic view negates pragmatic values of other religions and faiths, which result in religious conflicts and fundamentalism. The dogmatic attitude towards other religions is the outcome of the religious misguidance, misinterpretation, egocentric prejudice. Every religion has its own stand and values for coming into existence, serving humanity at large. The problems which religions face today arises due to the dogmatic attitude towards other religions, of which we are not practitioners. If we consider other religions as enemy or destructive force, religious harmony cannot be achieved. The existence of diversity of religions in human history proves that no single religion in the world could serve the whole humanity. We should learn to accept, appreciate other religions' values as they really are, namely social, ethical, philosophical, and spiritual values. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you, Dr. Tu, for such enlightening words. I would now like to introduce the chair of today's session, Reverend Professor Dr. Naresh Man Bhattacharya. Professor Naresh Man Bhattacharya is the Professor of Buddhist Studies, Tribhuvan University, and the third Vice Chancellor of Lumbini Buddhist University. I would like Professor Bhattacharya to conclude today's sessions.
First of all, it is our tradition to salute all of you and each other. So, I would like to salute all of you with Vajrayana tradition. Namaste namami namo swaha. How is it? So, I salute whom, I salute whom again, and I salute again whom. See here, according to Vajrayana tradition, whom is such a thing which can be elaborated as the essence, entity, or the tattva existed within all the creatures. In another way, if you look at the Mahayana text, you will see we all possess, not only human being, even other living being, creatures, they possessed the Tathagata Garbha, the Buddha Bija, the seed of enlightenment. So, we all are equal here, though I am very much small than you, I may be a little bit fat than you, but we all are equal in terms of we possess the Tathagata Garbha, the potentiality to be a Buddha in future. So, I salute once again, Namaste namami namo swaha. So we have to understand them also, they have to understand us also, and we have to work together, we have to accept each other. So in this way, we can imagine the prevalence of harmony in religion in this world. Thank you very much.